Well, I'm going to call it quits for today. Got a few things done on this. The auxiliary shaft pulley here, right there, we changed out, and I just pulled one off an old block I had laying around. Anyway, torque it 32 pounds. Got a new tensioner pulley here, had one in a box on the shelf, got lucky there. And the way I did this, I just went ahead and turned the engine over to TDC. You take a pin, shove it right through here, which goes through the plate that holds the pump and everything to hold the injector pump in the right place. The cam ends up with the lobes for number 1 at what is it, about probably 10 and 2. And then the crank you line up via the I don't know, I'll remember the name of it in a minute. It's pretty, oh, the flywheel, duh. Anyway, so I went ahead and lined them all up, took a little chunk of some MIG wire and tied it here, and then I just marked the tooth on my crank and the belt, so I knew exactly where I went back there. Loosened up my idler pulley and the auxiliary shaft here, and worked the idler pulley back off till it was loose. Then I was able to turn the crank the opposite direction just a little bit to get enough slack to get this pulley off, and started this one and put everything back. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but I didn't move anything, so it should run fine. Turned it over a couple laps and set the tension here on the belt. You don't want it too tight or you'll break it, and that's about right. This engine mount down here, I went ahead and broke the rubber out of it. See if we can see that. That was in the center, and then that is in this collar here. That's what the mount is itself, and took a Sawzall, cut one side of it, and then just kind of pounded it out, you can see. And the new one, I'll just pull it in. It's kind of a press fit. That's another day. I have to get one of those, so I decided I made a little parts list. I'll need a new mount here, need new water pump. I'm going to go ahead and put hoses on it, thermostat, while I'm at it. A new alternator belt, and there's a few other used parts I got to come up with yet. Need to come up with another one of these. That's the crankshaft pulley down there. That one's a little bit bent. It's not too bad. I came up with the new alternator mount, new used I should say, alternator mount out of the pile. The old one's broken. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is go ahead and go back to this diesel back here. See if I can get a shot of that. Kind of a dark area back here. But this guy right here was the original engine out of my son's car that had snapped the timing belt, and when you do that on a diesel Rabbit, you tend to put valves through pistons or into pistons and bend valves. But the rest of the pieces that I'm going to need, I'll probably take off of this engine if I need any, and or out of the 77 that we're working on. Anyway, being the end of the day, I figured I'd give you a little tour of Barney's Beetle Barn. You got your standard toolboxes everywhere. Got several Volkswagens here for any Volkswagen fans. We've got a 1960 single cab here that's work in progress. Most of the things around here are works in progress. I tend to work on one, go to something else, go to something else, come back to one, work on it some more, and every once in a while I end up completing one, and we drive it. Anyway, this one here is a 60 single cab, slammed pretty low, got most of the work done to get it lowered. Need to finish up the brake lines because I put a dual master cylinder in instead of the single. In case you lose one, you don't lose all your brakes. Above that, here on the rack, we got an old Mercury. It's an old Mercury rag top. It was my first car. Anyway, it's sitting up there, and maybe someday I'll get around to put it back on the road. It's been off the road for 20 years. I've got it, had it sitting around. Just shit everywhere, as you can see. Everybody knows about the lights. Got to have lights. Another Volkswagen here. This one here is a 57 double door panel. It's not too bad rusty wise considering it's a 57. I need to do both rockers, and I need to put a skin on the nose. It was smashed. And then we have old Porsche engine here. Needs a little bit of work, needs a couple valves, and what I've done is I picked up a couple heads on a trade right here. Good used heads. Just need to kind of slap them on and fire it up. Got a 56 bug here, kind of playing with. Fenders were all torn and smashed. I've been through and done the body work on those. Some filler primer on it right now. Sanded once, got to do that again when I get to it. We have a 73 van here. Had an engine fire once upon a time, as you can kind of tell. I fixed a little bit of rust on it, and have an engine that I'm piecing together out of used bits here. It's on this stand right here, and we'll see how that turns out. Back in the corner we got old Porsche, and above that we got another Beetle, another oval window. That one up there is a 57. It's a project I picked up off somebody that they were trying to put the rag sunroof in, and they gave up. Anyway, so I got to rework that and put it together. As you can see, I kind of tear Volkswagens apart. I stand the pans up against the wall. They're here and there and around. Then you just put them back together later. If you're going to put a floor in them, that's the easy way to do it anyway. Got another pan back there against the wall, and then out in the back barn I've got several leaned up like books on a shelf. We've got 64 Merc here. This one here is a station wagon, 9-passenger. Family car I grew up with. Anyway, it sat in carport for years and years, got a bunch of surface rust and this and that, and decided to pull it in here and get it out of the rain. Anyway, so there it sits. Back over there we got another Volkswagen Bug, and we got another Porsche over there, and another Volkswagen truck. It's a 1960 15 window van. See if I can make my way over here. And yeah, that one's a 1960 15 window van. A lot of rust. Just a project. We have here another Volkswagen truck. This one here is a 1955 single cab truck. For Volkswagen folks, they know what a single cab is. Big long bed on them. And it's kind of a workbench, storage bench right now. And back here we got my camper. This one here is a 66. It is a sundial camper. It's an aftermarket camper package that they did. I have the side tent, and there's a rack that goes on top with a Quonset hut style tent, and it has a little ladder that goes between the rear wheel and the eave up there. Ladder's back here on a post hanging up. Sorry about the fast stuff here, I'm trying to learn the camera. Anyway, those are the Volkswagens and crap in the barn here. A couple more engines here. We have a fresh rebuilt 40 horse sitting here that's going to go into a different 1955 single cab. It doesn't belong to me, it's a friend of mine's. Kind of limited on space here, so I have stuff stored everywhere. As you can see under the van here, I've got transmissions lined up and an engine block over there underneath. Kind of tuck things wherever I can. And anyway, that's a brief tour of the nightmare that is Barney's Beetle Barn. We have parts on shelves, used parts. Most Volkswagen fanatics like the old stuff. They like to refurbish old parts and put them on their car rather than buying aftermarket. And I have parts here. Tend to do a lot of trading and give stuff away, friends, whatever. I can't see this stuff go into the scrap yard because it's not scrap. It's all good stuff. You just gotta put it back together and use it. Use it and drive it. That's the thing about these old cars. You gotta drive them. There's too many here for me to drive. So I drive old Maynard. Maynard the Gray Bug is the first Beetle that I ever bought. We drove big block Fords up until that time, and 70s gas crunch kind of got me started on Volkswagens. I bought a 59 Volkswagen van, 36 horsepower, and I never went back. Anyway, this is old Maynard here. I pulled him in the shop today to dry it out. I took the body off and put new floors and stuff in it a couple years ago. Anyway, I've spilled a couple cups of coffee in on the passenger side on the floor, and it doesn't go away because there are no holes in it anymore. So I had to, I jacked it up here and tipped it forward to get all the forward, bailed it out, and pulled the floor mats out and whatnot, and dried it out today while I was working on this diesel engine. Anyway, that's old Maynard, old gray Maynard. It's just primer gray. Been primer gray since the first summer I had it, and always will probably be gray. Maybe someday I'll put a satin coat on it, I don't know. It's a daily driver, like I said. It's what I drive, and it's a good car. Anyway, I've had it since maybe 1980, so pushing 30, well, over 30 years I guess at this point. And first Bug I ever bought. Been through many over the years, sold quite a few, but I always keep old Maynard and drive them. Anyway, thanks for watching.